Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sir Purrcast. Glad to be here. Glad to be back. And in today's episode, I don't know about a lot of you guys, but I am getting super excited for the 2026 season and really high hopes. But this makes me want just to take a look back and at how far we've come. So I think that's what we're going to do today. Take a look back at the 2023, 2024, and even 2025 seasons and just look at how far we've come as a team, how we've progressed and gotten better every year. Because I just want to be grateful for all the success we've had, and just hope, and I believe that it will continue to be. I'm sure after we win the Super Bowl, it'll be crazy. But just take a look back at 2023 and where it all started. So in 2023, the Panthers are coming off of a 7-10 season where they were one win any regular season, any game. If they won any game, any other game, they were a kick away. If Eddie Pinheiro made either one of two field goals against the Falcons in week 8, the Panthers would be in the playoffs. They were a kick away, and that hurt. We had a lot of really good pieces in place. DJ Moore, McCaffrey, coming off a trade of McCaffrey, so we have good draft capital, and a very good community building with Steve Wilkes as the interim, coming in from Matt Rule. Sam Darnold came in at quarterback, was a little successful for us. But just a kick away. And looking back at that season, oh my gosh, bro. I remember, just thinking about, oh, what if this, what if that. And I'm sure that's what Bucs fans and Falcons fans and even Saints fans are thinking about right now. And, I'm grateful I don't have to be thinking about that. I would probably be driving myself crazy. And I still am a little bit about the Bucs game and the Saints game. What if that personal foul wasn't called? What if the refs were completely different in the Bucs game? But so I'm sure that's all they're thinking about, just what could have been, and the Panthers were able to get that. I think we're very clearly the best team in the NFC South. But the Panthers, they thought they needed a quarterback, so we made a push for one. Very aggressive move to trade up to the number 1 overall pick, which I was happy about no matter what. I think even if it didn't work out, because that just shows the aggression, and that you're taking steps forward as a franchise to improve. And we select Bryce Young, but we give up probably the second best player on our team at that time, which was DJ Moore. You could argue best. Looking back at some of his highlights, he was really talented. It's actually crazy. And especially being on the offensive side of the ball, where Bryce Young was needed, and giving up 2024 number 1, 2025 number 2nd round pick, or first round pick 2024. Obviously our other 2023 first. Just looking back at everything we gave up, I think DJ Moore was the one that hurt the most. And we have not had anyone like him yet. I don't think McMillan was as good as DJ Moore was next year. I think probably. And I think McMillan, I absolutely fills the void that we were looking for. Either way, but we still haven't had the talent. We still haven't had the production so far. But next year, obviously, I think we will have that. But and so that was a really big void that he left at the receiver spot. and just a leader in the locker room. And Bryce Young, he has all these expectations thrust on him. Not new, going to modern day, going to Alabama, you're going to have expectations, but still, it can be daunting. And we just aren't able to execute the season we wanted to. Bryce had really good connection with Adam Thielen. But, we had some really tough injuries on defense. With J.C. Horn. Derek Brown played amazing. Most tackles in NFL history by a defensive tackle. And it just sucked. I mean, as a fan, I remember being so happy with the 2 wins. I feel like I was just so happy that I went to one of 2 games we won that year. I think that's crazy. I'm just super grateful for that, especially because I think that made up for the whole season kind of being a disappointment. But obviously that's a personal experience, so not for many people. It's still, and it still was a disappointment. But I think there's a lot of hope going into next season. There's so much leaning on Bryce taking that step and, really developing on the flashes we saw in his rookie year. There are absolutely games and plays and moments that Bryce Young looked like who we wanted him to be. And there's a lot of expectations on him continuing to improve. And I think the lowest point in this franchise's career since we've actually and especially we hired Dave Canales, Jam Morgan, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, draft Leggett, who had really high expectations, draft Sanders, we get Horn back fully healthy. There's a lot of great expectations, really big expectations, a lot of hope going into this season. And Brown gets injured, DB gets injured, and those first 2 weeks, I think, were the lowest the Panthers have been since 2017. Or not since 2017. I guess the lowest point the Panthers have been since 2017. You know what I mean? Since in the span that we have made the playoffs, that was the lowest point I think any of us were in. Just the worst spot, with Bryce playing the way he did. I can't even sugarcoat it. It just wasn't up to standard of NFL starting quarterback. Dave Canales made a very decisive and shocking decision to bench him, and looking back at it, I think a lot of Panthers fans were happy just to see change and action being taken. Personally, I was a little upset and also a little hopeful. And honestly, I was Andy Dalton, that first game, I think that gave the Panthers just what they needed to just find a little hope, little stretch, and obviously, it was the Raiders. But it was a really great game from Andy Dalton. Team aside, even if the corners aren't good, he was still making really good throws. You can't even debate that. You look at that game, he was looked like prime Andy Dalton. And that gave everyone, and there's part of me that wanted that to be for Bryce, and wanted Bryce to still have the success. I know that I was always hoping that he would come back, and I wasn't unhappy with Dalton being the starter. I was honestly happy that we were seeing action being taken, but there was a part of me that wanted Bryce to come back, and I think it's just insane how he did. Andy Dalton, some injury in a car crash, and Bryce gets the nod for week 8. We haven't won a game since week 3. And Bryce by no means is the Bryce that we see now. But he is miles ahead of his week 1 and 2 performance. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, only one of them was his fault. But he made some really good throws. He looked much more confident and much more possessive over the offense. He looked like a really good leader. And he was making nice plays. So he gets the nod to start week 9, and I guess this is kind of the make or break week for Young. I fully believe if Bryce did not play well in week 9, Andy would have immediately gotten back the job. But not only does Bryce Young play well, a touchdown pass, he had an interception. It wasn't his fault, I don't think, in the slightest. And we win the game by 1 point against a New Orleans Saints team that was absolutely picked Bryce apart, to partially his fault, but he gets revenge on the Saints. And we see a new Bryce. He looks so much more confident and better. We win by 1, and it's a crazy finish. And then he gets to start to go in week 10 all the way to Munich, and we win again in another shocking Bryce Young finish against another, bottom of the barrel team. But again, Bryce Young looked really good. No turnovers. He looked like he was using his legs really well. And a touchdown pass to JT Sanders, finding his rookies. And then, throughout all this time, by the way, Jalen Coker has been looking amazing. I know I bought a Jalen Coker jersey ahead of week 10. That might have been one of the more boneheaded financial decisions I've made. Boy, did it work out, but at the time, looking back on it, should not have made that purchase after 2 games. I remember wearing it when watching the Giants game. And my dad was with me. He was very skeptical. He said I should not have made that purchase, but and I should not have very premature. But it worked out, so that's really all that matters. Unlike my purchase of a Baker Mayfield jersey. But you win some, you lose some. Anyways, the up to week 10, Bryce Young looks amazing as ever. Then we head to go to week 12, we play the Super Bowl team, the AFC representatives in the Super Bowl. Bryce Young, best game he's played in his career, maybe since Green Bay in 2023. Amazing, we still lose with Patrick Mahomes. Game-winning drive, game-winning field goal. So, a little taste of our own medicine there. But Bryce looked great. Led a really nice comeback. I know we were down 29. And then, we come back, we score. And, we're able to rally. And then, oh my gosh, this game might be the bane of my existence. I don't know if it's this or 2022 Week 8 Atlanta. Week 13, Bryce Young, probably best game of his career ever. At that point, 298 passing yards, rushing touchdown, passing touchdown, I believe. Do you have another one, or did Chuba Hubbard rush one in? I know. No, it was only. Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, he's a rushing and passing touchdown. It was insane, dude. I remember we were winning that game for a stretch of the time in the third and in the late second, late third. We were looking very good. Bryce was making amazing plays. And we go down 20 to 16. And Bryce is set up with a game-winning drive opportunity. Drive down the field, and then Bryce Young steps up and delivers a beauty to Adam Thielen to take the lead with 30 seconds left. And I'm not thinking we won the game yet. I know I'm not. I'm very excited. I know it's most likely a win. Obviously, I think we're going to win. But there is a very good part of me that thinks, okay, well, at least it's not going to be a loss. At least it's going to go to overtime. But there is a good part of me that thinks there's still a chance to go to overtime. And Chase McLaughlin nails a really deep field goal, and I'm like, please miss. And we don't, and then we get the chance to take to win the game in overtime. And I don't understand. I love Chuba Hubbard. He's one of my favorite Panthers players of all time. Primarily because I actually got to watch him. But I still, to this day, do not understand how you fumble the football. And again, it's a little bit of a taste of our own medicine. Tyrone Tracy fumbling the ball against the Giants. Credit to A'Shawn Robinson. And then we get a chance to get the game-winning field goal. But it hurt so much because I just wanted to just line up and kick the field goal the second we were in range. I had a lot of trust in Eddie Pinheiro. And that's why it hurt a lot. Just because I thought we should have kicked the field goal the second we were decently in range. But yeah, we lose, and that was the toughest loss, I think, because I didn't even watch overtime in Atlanta 2022, because I was just too hysterical about the Hail Mary, and I just did not want to watch, because I was so, just full of emotions with getting the Hail Mary, then missing the extra point, but still. Okay, then we go on a little bit of a losing streak. Bryce Young looked amazing in week 14 again. And we almost win. We almost pull one out of the Super Bowl champs. Eagles, probably the most dominant team of the 2020s. I mean the Seahawks, but I feel like the Seahawks were really only dominant, truly dominant during the postseason and late end of the season. The Eagles, they were just dominant during the whole season. That would be a really good matchup. 2024 Eagles versus 2026 Seahawks. But yeah, wait. Yeah, no, 2025 Seahawks. Yeah, that's where I got it messed up. And then week 15 we get smoked. And that was the game I went to. That was really disappointing. Just really bad turnovers, and it's a game. It happens. And they were just a better team that day. And then week 16, Bryce Young just goes and has 3 touchdowns day. He just looks great. Best game of his career at that point. And people are riding high on him. He looks like a completely different quarterback, and he looked amazing. And then week 17, again, he played well. It just wasn't our day. Same with the Cowboys, except Bryce Young played well. It was really disappointing. I was watching that at my grandparents' house, and I just remember the Bucs just kept scoring. Our defense just wasn't their day. And then week 18, I'm not expecting too much. I remember just having so much faith in Bryce, just so much confidence, especially just the way he's played. The way he came back. It's so amazing that he did that. That's one of the best stories in all sports. Just want to keep that. Also, this is just basically a Bryce Young hype up. I don't know. He's kind of been the story of the team in the past couple of years. I know he wouldn't say that, but I feel like in a lot of people's eyes, he kind of has been. 2018. I remember watching this with my dad, and I had every time Bryce Young would even make a 5-yard pass, I would play the YouTube clip of the one guy screaming, "That's why he's the MVP, that's why he's a GOAT," that one viral meme clip. And it was so funny and fun. I was having such a good time. And I wasn't even nervous, honestly. It wasn't even because I had trust in Bryce Young or anything like that. I feel like I should have been nervous. I just wasn't. I was more sad, honestly, because we were looking like such an amazing team, playing really good complementary football, and I thought at that point we could be in the playoffs. We could be a really good team, and I just knew the season was ending, and I was really sad about that. But Bryce Young looked so good. 5 touchdowns, 251 yards, and the return of Miles Sanders Our defense, it was a rougher day for them. I think, especially coaching-wise, that was a tough day. I just don't think we were in the right schemes. I don't think, I think we let up, a 3rd and 20? 3rd and 24, that went for a touchdown, at the goal line. I think we let that up. And then we also let Drake London just one-on-one against, a 5'9" corner, and Drake London's, 6'4". So, there are just, I think errors in the coaching side, but, we were looking like our best football. That was the best game we've played. That was the best game we've played since, I could say 2022 week 3. Not week 3, week 7. I could say 2020. I don't even know. I could even say 2019 Jaguars. Week 6? Was that week 6? I don't know. In a long time. It was awesome. And then, it got trumped by the Rams game, in my opinion. Even the Bucs game. And then going into 2025, a lot of expectations, especially with Bryce Young. And, the 0-2 start. And honestly, going into the season, I'm not going to be mad at an 0-2 start. I think I am going to be disappointed, but I'm going to accept the fact that... Actually, I'm not going to accept the fact. I have trust in this team. But we do tend to start a little slow. But maybe that's just because we don't have home openers. Maybe, you give us a home opener here. We're gonna put on a show at the bank. Anyways, moving on. 0-2 start, it's rough. Then 30-0, that was a little bit of a shock. A little insane. I actually still, to this day, cannot believe we go from losing to the Cardinals of all teams to shutting out the Falcons 30-0. That was a really amazing game for the defense. Then week 4 we lose 42-13. That was a super tough loss. Then a 3-game winning streak to go to 4-3. With Bryce Young looking super good in all of those. And, I think our defense, especially, just showing up when needed. In that Jets game, that was all defense. Derek Brown, everyone really had a field day. And look, this was the first year we've had our 2 superstars on defense in J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, healthy in the same year. And, our defense was much better this year than it's ever been. Also, I think Mike Jackson had something to do with that. Christian Rothroom had a really good year. Linebacker depth was a really tough issue for us, but... And then, the alternating cycle, it's tough. Alternating from week 7 all the way to week 16, wins and losses. But at the same time, I wouldn't have it any other way. Besides just winning every game, but I wouldn't have it any other way if the wins and losses were the same amount of numbers. It was definitely a little crazy, just the teams we beat and the teams we lost to. I feel like they absolutely just should have been flip-flopped. Beat the Jets, lose to... beat the Jets. We'll say beat the Bills, lose to the Packers. Beat the Saints, lose Falcons. Beat Niners, sure, lose Rams, then beat Saints, lose Bucks. But, we wouldn't go to the playoffs if that were the case. But still, it's tough, and I think in all of those games, Bryce Young really only had one bad game. That was Saints week 9, and that's one bad game out of, 8 or 7. I'll take that any day of the week. That's honestly remarkable. And that Falcons game and that Rams game, crazy games. My 2 favorite of the season in terms of games. The Bucs game will always be my favorite. Just going to it was just a different type of connection and feeling to it. But I mean, in the Packers, I mean, there's really there's there's like 5 games. Rams twice, Bucks, Falcons, Packers, Cowboys. There's 6 games. I could even argue Dolphins. I'm not going to. I mean, I could argue Falcons as well. But again, I'm not going to. Just because those games didn't really have the same feeling, I think, as the other ones did. Yeah, and then week 16 was unbelievable. We take the crown. We never really lost it, besides for, did it start at 7? We never really lost it, and besides, until, from, 10 p.m. on Saturday till, 4 p.m. on Sunday, we lost it. But, we quickly regained it back. Thank you, Falcons. I will forever be grateful, just for the opportunity to go play in the playoffs. I will forever be grateful to Atlanta and, D. Alford. Because, to be honest, I kind of credit D. Alford for winning that game. But also Kirk Cousins. I really like Kirk Cousins. I liked him at quarterback. I love the song Swag Surfing, so that's the one thing I will respect about the Falcons. In the playoff game, it was credible atmosphere. And now at the present day, we've got a really tough luck with injuries. And this so far training camp, but the future looks, brighter than ever, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything you could think of bright. I mean, it looks really good. I'm super excited, but again, never forget your roots. We've come a long way in 3 years. 2-12, 3 years later, Super Bowl champions. That is, that's been the Panthers' way. Panthers 1-15, and 2 years later in the Super Bowl, 2-14, 2010. I mean, that's 4 or 5 years, so I feel like that's not that bad. That's kind of a decently long turnaround. But I mean, this team has been through a lot, and it's gonna be super exciting for this year. I'm hyped. I'm excited, but we've come a really long way, and I just kind of want to honor that. And say thank you to all the people who've made this possible. I mean, this is a dream come true as a Panthers fan. Just being in the position where this is the future of the Panthers. It's super exciting. I'll see you guys tomorrow for training camp day 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep pounding.